Good morning, welcome back to part 6 of Aesthetic Math 3.0. We are diving into a critical process of conducting the initial training sessions. Now, in the previous videos, we talked about preparation, we talked about business model, and we talked about all the things to watch out for, the skill gaps and things like that. And that is the very important fundamental part before you actually run the initial training. For busy doctors, maybe this is the first time, or maybe this is multiple times already, but we're going to have a special focus on grooming our millennials into the workforce. Okay, so let's get started. Now, preparation for the training is important. There's a few things that we want to just take note, just in case we forget or even overlook. Training environment. A lot of times in the clinic, when we talk about training, it's just to get together within the clinic, put a table across and tada, and probably a projector. Now we're going to think about it as a workforce, as an individual, as a team. I've been in this environment for 9 to 5 for the last 2 years, right? Training in the clinic itself, would it be optimal? Not sure. Unless you have a specific room that is literally made for training. Or maybe you say your consult room is good enough, but is it squeezy? Is it things that people will sit down and associate with, the pressure of learning? Now, a good idea is to move it to a cafe, move it into a conference room, or move it into a short little holiday. Maybe that could be better, but consideration for you. So the environment, when we say environment, most of the time when we do training, I personally like things like this, white, okay, and things clear. And mind you, my desk is messy like shit. But end of the day is when we do training, it's literally clarity that we want to put on the table. So the environment is very important. Next is the presentation. There are doctors that says, let me print out my notes and then share with my people, and then we read off the notes. Doctor, good enough lah. Read at home can already lah. Why do training, right? What is training? Training is selling the message you want to sell, the way you want to sell it, and the effect you want to create. So creating a PowerPoint is important. Maybe creating something on the website, from a website, playing a video from a particular doctor, teacher is important. Yeah, sure. That's called references. And by building this up, right, what's more important over the last few videos is what are we going to drive to the endpoint with my team, with my new team, changing in mindset, shifting in the way they want to do things together with the way I want it, because I know the endpoint, right? And that you got to remember the business forms. When you created the business forms, all the who, what, when, why, how is inside, including deliverables and time frame. And it's broken up into about 9 to 11 sections that helps you articulate. In a training, the worst thing is ever to say, let me take from my pharmaceutical company's notes and then improvise and I talk the way I want to talk it. Would that be effective? Remember, the past few videos is about a new business model, it's about driving for new customers and serving the new customer profile probably, right? As a team, not just one person, right? In a team, you may have 3 to 5 person. How would each interact and say the same thing, talk the same thing, do the same thing, serve the client well? That's the end point. The next point we want to discuss is called engaging people into your training session. Fortunately, today we're engaging younger people in our workforce. And that one probably millennials and probably maybe in their 30s. How do these people think and like to learn from you? Like this. Imagine they grew up in a 7-inch world. So what do they look for? Videos. What do they look for? Fun. What are they looking at? TikToks. What are they absorbing in their educational journey on their own, learning stuff? May not be learning about aesthetics, but what engaged to them? Movements, videos. Engagement can be as simple as a pause in between a video presentation or even a pause between a questionable question. And therefore, getting back people giving you talking points, giving you feedbacks, giving you things like, hey, I think this point is like this. Hey doc, I have a suggestion on this input. And that is what we call engagement. By engagement, let me share with you something called a quizzy, meaning I set up a quiz to earn you credits, to let you know you pass or not. Right, after you've done this link yourself, isn't it fun? You get immediately the assessment points of what you have learned today, or the learning points, whether the participants are able to absorb. So these are what we call quizzing, and we are making use of technology. And why is it so? Because in this 7-inch world, okay, this is what the new millennials are familiar with. This is something that they will engage with. This is ever the worst thing if you do a training and nobody responds. So why don't you use tech? Now let's talk about learning modules. Nobody learn in a perfect way. One day everything learn finished. He is an AI. But chances are humans. We tend to forget. And in human adult learning, what I learned today, within the next 4 days, I forget everything, zero. And 4 to 5 days later, something comes back. Now, as a business entrepreneur, 4 to 5 days business come back, so will my customer not come back. So therefore, create something called e-learning modules, a reminder, a refresher. You can put that online anytime. And that is about you having the interest to continue to keep your training sustainable, your standard raisable. Right? Wrong word to say, but higher standard attainment, in other words. Oh, by the way, if you do e-learning module, well, please give level of access rights, right? To ensuring your training notes stay within your organization. Today, we talk about interactions, we talk about feedbacks. Adult learning is such that typically within a 45 minutes time frame, we still can tahan, we still can absorb everything that is taught. Most of the time we use pointers. Pointers are examples, simple things I want to say. Let's do one. Mission. What is the company going to do? Okay? And then, or objectives. We're going to search for new customers, okay? Or executable, right? What are we going to do every day? So these are point form whereby you actually have on the presentation for you, the speaker, to talk about it, to enforce on it, and to share, right? And it's not about writing. I've seen a professor many years, fantastic knowledge, somebody I want to learn with, but he keeps writing all what he wants to say on the slide. Question is this: why would I need you, the speaker, if I can read off the slide? I might as well read. And then that interest in the training will then die because you are not an effective trainer. So these are the points that's very important. Don't just write everything and anything and all the things. Read better lah. I don't need to see you. Next training session, I better switch myself off because I can read later ma. And this is the mindset of the millennials too. If I can read there, I read later. But if I need to focus, when I see certain points that literally for you to tell me what's the story behind, I would pay attention. Point 5, something to ponder and make in your training session. Group collaborative discussion and brainstorming. Now, this is a part whereby in one earlier part of the video, I even says that in order to nurture your workforce today, cross-department collaboration. This is the time you put to action this methodology or idea. What is it? Let's say you have 3 to 5 persons, sometimes just swap them in a discussion group to have differences of opinions and execution point. Why? One person is never an island. Today, with the dynamic shift in technology, AI, and everything so rapidly fast, you cannot afford not to have other thinking caps coming together to create one particular strong benefit or point from your training. So these are something that is always important. We call this breakout rooms, we call this breakout groups, or we call this collaboration group, and they can come up with a conclusion for a discussion for the matter. It could be things like, how would I improve the customer flow? You will never know that even somebody picking the medicine can even tell you how to present the medicine in a much more productive way. Or the person doing the reception, you may never know. Hey doc, can I put a very nice aromatherapy in the front desk to entice people that have their first positive experience stepping into the treatment room? So therefore, collaborative discussion and groups, it's a trend today in training. There you go. In conclusion, I've given you 5 points to help you start the initial training. And if you're already doing training already, well, just check on these 5 points to see what is done well, what can be improved, and things like that. Effective training is essential for grooming new members into your workforce, especially the millennium. Very importantly is prepare well. We need engagement, we need that feedback, and we need collaboration between different departments. Why? You don't want a one-man island. Thank you for watching and joining us. Catch you soon in the next episode.